I'd like to, and she's in a state where her efforts have made a difference. I'd like to turn the microphone over to Kim.
Thank you. Yes, and I have to wipe the smile off my face because I am from Wisconsin. With the example of what happened in Wisconsin is something that I'll show here that we can really make a difference. And I do want to say too that I was born in Evanston, and I think probably that's where I got a lot of my community organizing genes from. But when I saw the title, "The Liberals' Shadow War on Our Second Amendment," I mean, I thought to myself, I made some notes. There was a reason why our founders chose our right to bear arms as number 2. And it's ongoing, the assault, they're relentless. And their attempt to undermine this fundamental right must have real merit in their agenda. If they use legislations, regulations, bills, they wage many fights, and they never cease. Some we win, some we lose. Why? Because freedom has always been under assault. It's clearly the battleground between good and evil. So how do you change a culture? How do you obtain your objectives if you've been unable to be successful through the normal channels of law? If you're patient, disciplined, you're determined, you change a culture by changing the youth. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what is going on in this country right now in our public school systems. They go after our core family structure, our faith, our tradition, our values, and that's their battle plan of the liberal agenda, and is being waged very effectively. Our history books are being rewritten. Our Constitution classes are overlooked. God is a forbidden word, replaced by tolerance, acceptance, all and any type of family structure, lifestyles, stripping our children of traditional values of knowledge of what freedom is and why freedom is even important. In Wisconsin, it's mandatory to teach about the history of collective bargaining, but the Second Amendment is taboo. When I was being an election observer in an inner city ward on Tuesday, I was wandering around a little bit looking at the anti-bullying posters hung on the wall with the logo of Gleason on the bottom of it. We allow for a day of silence in our schools, but it's getting to be a little bit too controversial to have an Easter egg hunt or Christmas celebrations. Planned Parenthood is moving in. And why is this happening? Because we're letting it happen. You know, you can't keep calling foul from the sideline forever. You have to get in the game. And we got in the game in Wisconsin, and look what we did. We beat them at their ground game, possibly for the first time ever. One instance was we partnered with True the Vote, and we attacked the voter fraud that we know is rampant in the state. And we trained and we mobilized hundreds of people to go to the polls this week. And guess what? They weren't very happy that we were there. And you know what? We're going to be back in November, and we're going to make a change, and we're going to stand up for what isn't right. Our founders listed the Second Amendment for a reason. And we better get on top of this one. If we don't give our kids the tools that they need, the knowledge to defend and fight for freedom, then how are they going to wage the war? And how do we do this? How do we get in the game? If it's all about fairness, then it's time for us to go get our fair share. New classes on the Constitution, Second Amendment programs for the kids, and I'm really for hunter safety taught in our public schools. After all, you know, we pay the taxes too. So in conclusion, let me just read something from one of my books. Books that I wrote, one for the soldiers, one for the Second Amendment. Most people, publishers and the schools, they told me these aren't popular books. And I ran one of the recalls up there last year against one of the runaway senators. And I didn't win, but when I became the candidate. But the left spent $3.3 million trying to ruin my reputation and my books, and they called me a kook. What kind of a woman who raised 9 children would know anything about the Constitution, they said. And then what kind of a kook would write a book about kids and guns. So if you'd humor me just for a minute, let me read you my foreword and then you can tell me if you think I'm a kook. The right to bear arms is a constitutional right embodied in the Second Amendment. It is a fundamental link to the heritage that was left to us by our nation's founders. With my rifle by my side is a story that conveys this right to children and teaches the honor and responsibility that comes with the ownership and handling of guns. If America is to persist, we must stop the indoctrination so contrary to the beliefs passed down to us. It is our duty and responsibility to defend the ideals and principles that our Constitution was founded upon and restore the link to our heritage. It is time for Americans to stand up and defend the country that has offered so much to its citizens. For too long, we have reaped the bountiful harvest America offers and not sown a single seed. The result is a transformation of America that has rendered Lady Liberty helpless to defend and protect her people. The founders predicted such demise if we strayed from the fundamental premise that government would serve the people and not the reverse. Because we have lost sight of our original values, now our morals, work ethic, pride, and integrity have been greatly diminished. How will American children realize their ability to achieve greatness if no one instills such attributes as courage, integrity, and honesty in their hearts and minds? We must dedicate ourselves to equipping our children with the tools they need so that they may carry on the rich heritage of America. And we must teach our children at an early age that our rights and freedoms as Americans are fragile and of the utmost importance. And we can impart a love for liberty, which we have inherited because our founders' understandings of righteousness and justice. Only then will they be able to achieve greatness and preserve the great legacy of America. This book is a book that works to instill such values and principles in children. It is a unique story that celebrates duty, honor, and liberty at a time when such ideals are being banned and assaulted in our schools and general society. This book will inspire children to take their place as future leaders of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as we did in Wisconsin, we waged a battle. We joined in and we played that game. If we don't join in and get involved in our schools and stop what they're doing, then our children will not be equipped to be able to stand up, as many of the great people in this room and all of you have done, to defend our possibly most and only line of defense, which is our Second Amendment. And so that is what we will carry on. Now that's what I will be getting more involved in now that we've actually kept our Governor Walker. So thank you very much.